Charlene Tilton. Wow. Overnight, at the age of 19, she became a sex symbol of the 80s, starring as the scheming, troubled teen Lucy Ewing, daughter of the conniving Texas oil tycoon J.R. Ewing in the iconic TV show Dallas. But while Charlene, listen, she was gracing hundreds of magazine covers, celebrating her skyrocketing stardom, she says behind the scenes, she was holding back painful childhood secrets, stories that she held on, stories that people would never have believed. Take a look.
Charlene Tilton was poised to be Hollywood's new it girl, hosting SNL, landing coveted modeling gigs, and even releasing the Euro pop song C'est la vie. 65 million viewers tuned in to watch Lucy Ewing tie the knot in the TV wedding of the century. But Tilton's stormy real-life struggles were as far away from the glamour of Hollywood or South Fork Ranch. In a new People magazine article, Charlene opens up for the first time about the father she says abandoned her when she was just a baby and her mother, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Charlene's childhood included a life of unimaginable conditions, squalor, even revealing rodents would climb on her in her sleep. Charlene says her faith is what kept her strong and grounded through it all, saying, "I see the bright side of things, and that's served me well during tumultuous times."
Here today for a daytime exclusive interview, please welcome television icon Charlene Tilton. I'm seeing you for the first time with the Madam. You look gorgeous.
Oh, you are so sweet. Thank you.
Oh, please have a
Thank
seat.
you all. Hi, Tamron. We're all together, baby.
Look, I mean, listen, I wouldn't have expected anything less, but let me tell you, the shock pink, everything, the haircut, everything. You're giving
Honey, it's Tamron Hall. It's the Tamron Hall show. I better bring it, right?
You know, I watched you on The Masked Singer. Your name is synonymous with a decade. 3 weeks ago, they had Eric Estrada, Young MC, and you bring out the clues for The Masked Singer.
Yes.
It's so fun. Oh, yeah. I have to tell you, it's so fun to see you celebrated and people embracing. Really, I mean, I heard the audience nodding when I said, "Who shot JR?" I think half, if not 90% of our audience was watching right along with me at that time. Because now, you know, no offense, we have cable news, you got streaming. Back then, everyone would sit for a television event.
Yes.
And it didn't matter who you were, it was an event.
Yeah.
And we watched your star soar, SNL hosting. I know you have a good Prince story. You and Prince hung out.
Well, I was at the Plaza Hotel. I was coming down the elevator to get into the car to go to NBC. And I'm in the elevator with my manager, and in comes this gorgeous young guy, but he's like tiny, he's like my height. And he's with a taller gentleman, and he's wearing these shoes like this high. They were not spiked heels, but they were high like this. And I said, "Oh my gosh, where did you get your shoes?" I said, "I'm so sorry." And he said, I said, "Oh my gosh, I gotta get him." And he says, "I just want to let you know," and he was very soft-spoken. He said, "I want to let you know I'm a very big fan of yours, and I'm going to be doing SNL with you." I said, he was the unbilled musical guest. Wow. He was unbilled. And I was talking to him, "Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do. I've never hosted, blah, blah, blah." And he kept...
There you are.
There I am. Prince was so nice.
Yeah.
And so unassuming. So I get to the studio, we do it, we rehearse, and then the day of the live show, I go and host, and then Prince comes on. And the world was never the same. I will never forget his humility and just talking about me,
but you know,
and he's Prince.
But I'm gonna tell you, much like yourself, here you are, this huge TV icon. You're clearly an open book, hence the story you just told us. You hold nothing back. But for all these years, you were holding back your real story. You Talk with People magazine, and I saw a quote that you said about your mom and your dad. Your father abandoned the family, you said.
Yes.
And that left you and your mother, who suffered from schizophrenia. You told People magazine that the conditions that you lived in as a child were unimaginable. Not just the fact that it was unhealthy and the squalor that you described. You said, that went on for years. I could never imagine bringing friends over. Once a rat even crawled across you one night and you said, I can't live like this. This was after years of living like that.
Right. When I was 5, my mother was there's my mama right there, God bless her, Catherine. She was, you know, I will say she suffered in her life. She was paranoid, schizophrenic. She was very, very mentally ill. But she tried very hard. And I think back then you didn't talk about mental illness, and treatment was different. When I was 5, she was institutionalized, so I didn't see her, except for one time, her twin sister, oddly enough, brought me to see her in a mental institution, and she was in a straitjacket.
Talk about that.
And in her own excretions, and just sitting there. And I blamed myself, and I said, I promise, Mommy, I'll be good, you know. I was from foster home to foster home and relative to relative during those 3 years. Right before my 8th birthday, she was released, and she got a 1-bedroom apartment in Hollywood. And I reunited with her right before my 8th birthday. She got a little clown cake from Ralph's, and had a few neighborhood kids over. But I remember it, and she tried, but you know, she was mentally ill.
Well, you know, first of all, I thank you for sharing this after all these years, because to your point, people didn't talk about these things then. And she is still your mom.
Yes.
This is the person who, as you point out, was trying. We can only do the best we can.
Yes.
Over the years, as your fame started to take off, you tried to get help. I know that you would you were making $15,000 a week, I think it was, you said, and you would try to help financially.
Not quite 15,000.
Oh.
A lot less, but that's okay. And trust me, it was good money, especially for, you know, I was 17 years old when I started the show. Yeah. But when I was 15, we had been evicted from she had another breakdown. We were evicted from our apartment. We were renting a furnished apartment. So she got another apartment, but we had no furniture. We had an old mattress on the floor. And I was laying there one night, and that's when a rat crawled across, and I said, I'm done. I said, Mommy, I'm done. So I went and lived at different friends' houses, and then I ultimately got my own apartment when I was going to Hollywood High School. And got my own apartment and worked at the Egyptian Theater on Hollywood Boulevard, making $1.90 an hour. And then across the street at Super Shirts, it's a t-shirt shop, and that's where I was working when I got the part of Dallas.
And you got that part because
I read in Dramalog, it's a magazine, Backstage West now, and they do some casting notices, and it cost $0.25 back then, and I would sit at the newsstand and read it. And I read Dallas, and I read the synopsis of this miniseries, and I read the list of characters, and I read Lucy Ewing. Oh. And they described her as a manipulative little sex pot. She has... That's a stretch. Mm-hmm. They said she has everything money could buy, a silver spoon, but she does all these things. And I went, I get her.
So you shot this character from the beginning?
I snuck into Warner Brothers every day for 2 weeks. The casting director, Barbara Miller, had already cast me in 8 is Enough and Code R. She knew me, and she said, no, we need somebody with more experience. You're not right. And I snuck into the studio every day for 2 weeks. Please, please, let me come and read. Finally, her assistant, they said, come back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And I said, can I have a script to study or size? They said, no, just show up tomorrow at 5. So the next day, I got to the studio at 1 when I knew they would be at lunch. And I snuck into the office, and I went through her desk. And I stole the script. And I I took it to my acting coach, Jeff Corey, and went back to my appointed time at 5 o'clock, and I did my audition, and then I had callbacks and...
With the stolen script in your head.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't even know why I have these notes, because I'm just going to listen to you talk. I'm not going to look at more questions. We're more with Charlene Tilton about her new movie role that she says will inspire women of all ages looking for love after the break.
What is wrong with you today?
Nothing. Now, can we just please relax, okay?
Okay.
Breathe. Let it out. Again.
Now, I feel something is up. What is it? Your shop?
Moxie is fine.
You met a man. Don't tell me you finally let a man into that closed-off heart of yours? No, it couldn't be that. Hell hasn't frozen over yet.
That was a clip from Heaven Sent starring Charlene Tilton. It's a new romantic comedy streaming exclusively on Pure Flix. Charlene is back with us. I told you I could sit and talk to you. You are the kind of person, just give me a little martini and we'll sit here all day long and we'll all hang out. But this series is so phenomenal. So it follows 3 couples at different stages of their life as they find love, hope, and joy after loss. Your character is Pam, who, it reminds me a lot of you. I'm just saying right here. Pam is navigating a new life chapter. She's got a feisty personality, but I know that you love stories that resonate and that will leave people thinking and inspired, and this does.
Yes. Well, I loved this movie, Heaven Sent, because first of all, it's myself and the character of Pam and the character of Elise, played by Karen Abercrombie, and we're best friends. We've been best friends forever. And back in the 80s, we were a one-hit wonder. We were a group called Sugar and Spice. We had a one-hit song. But now we're our age. First of all, I love the fact that it's a woman's story. We're like this.
Yeah.
We're best friends forever. So it's a buddy movie.
Yes.
And I'm turning 65, so it's our age. You never see women 65 being best friends. And we both end up meeting gentlemen and falling in love. And she meets a pastor who's widowed. And what I loved about this, even though it's faith-based and she meets a pastor, and on the praise and worship team, the head of praise and worship, their marriage is going through a rocky period. Yeah. So these Christians weren't caricatures, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're played as real people.
Real
yes,
people.
they love Jesus, but they're real. They're real people, okay? They're not like all too heavenly minded to be any earthly good, you know what I'm saying? So when I read that in the script, I went, okay, yeah, they're Christians, but they're real.
But they're real people. There's no pretense here. No one is perfect.
No, no one's
life.
perfect. Right.
Listen, I just love you so much. You're one of those guests, I swear to you, what you see is what you get. Can't you tell? Can you tell? And I'm so happy now you're revealing the part of your life that we haven't known, because it makes us appreciate your journey even more. Everybody's got a story. You got to peel back those layers, and you sharing your story and sharing your mother's story will help someone.
You know,
I just have one more thing.
Yes.
Just leave that dress in my dressing room and that's going to be that. Thank you so much, Charlene. Be sure to watch Charlene in Heaven Sent, streaming